Welcome, friends, to a special journey into one of the most powerful stories in the Bible. Today, we're diving deep into Genesis chapter 28, a chapter that speaks of divine encounters, incredible promises, and a dream that bridges the gap between heaven and earth. This is the story of Jacob's ladder, and it's a story that holds profound meaning for all of us. Our story begins with Jacob on the run. He's just deceived his father Isaac and stolen the birthright blessing from his twin brother Esau. Now, filled with a mix of fear and uncertainty, Jacob is fleeing from Beersheba to Haran. Imagine him, walking alone through the desolate wilderness, with nothing but a small bundle and the weight of his actions on his shoulders. He's leaving behind everything he knows, stepping into an unknown future. It's a moment of deep vulnerability, a point where he is completely reliant on something beyond himself. This isn't just a physical journey. It's the start of a spiritual transformation. Little does Jacob know, this path of desperation will lead him directly into the presence of God. As the sun sets, casting long shadows across the land, Jacob, exhausted from his travels, finds a spot to rest for the night. He doesn't have a comfortable bed or even a soft patch of grass. He takes a simple, hard stone for a pillow and lays his head down to sleep. It's in this humble, uncomfortable setting that something extraordinary happens. As Jacob drifts into a deep sleep, his physical world fades away and a divine vision begins to unfold. This moment teaches us that God often meets us not in our comfort, but in our hardship. When we feel most alone and have nothing left to lean on, that's when heaven can open up to us in the most unexpected ways. In his dream, Jacob sees a magnificent sight, a great ladder, or perhaps a stairway, set firmly on the earth, with its top reaching all the way into the heavens. And on this ladder, he sees the angels of God, ascending and descending. This isn't just a random dream. It's a powerful symbol. The ladder represents a connection, a bridge between the divine realm and the human world. The angels moving up and down are messengers, showing a constant, active communication between God and humanity. It signifies that heaven is not distant or uninterested in our world. There is a pathway, a way for God to reach down to us and for us to reach up to him. Then, at the very top of this celestial ladder, a glorious presence appears. It is the Lord God himself, radiating a brilliant light, and God speaks directly to the sleeping fugitive. He says, "I am the Lord, the God of your father Abraham, and the God of Isaac." This is a crucial declaration. God isn't introducing himself as a new, unknown deity. He is the God of Jacob's ancestors, the God of the covenant, the one who has been faithful through generations. This connects Jacob to a long history of divine faithfulness. God then makes a series of life-altering promises. He says, "The land on which you are lying, I will give to you and your descendants. Your descendants will be like the dust of the earth, and you will spread out to the west and to the east, to the north and to the south. In you and your seed, all the families of the earth shall be blessed." This is a powerful reaffirmation of the Abrahamic covenant. God is promising Jacob land, countless descendants, and a legacy that will bless the entire world. But the promise that must have struck Jacob the most in his moment of fear and loneliness was this: "Behold, I am with you and will keep you wherever you go and will bring you back to this land. For I will not leave you until I have done what I have promised you." What an incredible assurance! For a man on the run, fearing for his life, this promise of God's constant presence and protection was everything. Jacob suddenly wakes from his sleep, and the dream's profound reality hits him. He is filled with awe and even a sense of fear. He exclaims, "Surely the Lord is in this place, and I was not aware of it." He thought he was alone in a random, desolate spot, but he now understands he was sleeping at the very gate of heaven. He says, "How awesome is this place! This is none other than the house of God, and this is the gate of heaven." His perspective is completely transformed. The ordinary, lonely place has become sacred ground because God revealed himself there. Moved by this divine encounter, Jacob feels compelled to respond. He takes the stone he had used as a pillow, a symbol of his hard and lonely journey, and he stands it up as a pillar. He then anoints it with oil, a traditional act of consecration, setting it apart as something holy. He names the place Bethel, which means house of God. This act is Jacob's first real step of faith and worship. He is marking the spot, not just as a memory, but as a place of covenant. Then Jacob makes a vow. He says, "If God will be with me and will keep me on this journey that I am taking, and will give me food to eat and clothing to wear, so that I come again to my father's house in peace, then the Lord shall be my God. This stone, which I have set up as a pillar, shall be God's house, and of all that you give me, I will surely give 1/10 to you." Some might see this as Jacob trying to bargain with God, but it's more likely a heartfelt response of commitment. He is essentially saying, "If you are who you say you are, and if you do what you promised, I will dedicate my entire life to you." His vow includes recognizing God, establishing a place of worship, and committing to tithing. It is a complete reorientation of his life around the God who just met him in his brokenness. This moment is a turning point, not just for Jacob, but for the entire biblical narrative. God chose Jacob, not because he was perfect, far from it, but because of his grace and sovereign plan. The promise of land, descendants, and divine presence now rests on this flawed man who is just beginning to understand what it means to walk with God. The sunrise that greets Jacob the next morning is not just the start of a new day. It's a symbol of the new hope, the new purpose, and the divine promise that now illuminates his path. So, what does this ancient story mean for us today? We face moments when we feel lost, alone, or are running from our past mistakes. We lay our heads down at night on pillows of worry and anxiety. But the story of Jacob's ladder is our story too. It reminds us that God is not distant. He is a God who reaches down to us, right where we are, in our mess and our fear. The ladder is a beautiful picture of Jesus Christ, who is the ultimate connection between heaven and earth. He is the way, the truth, and the life, the one through whom we can have a relationship with God. God's promises to Jacob are a reflection of his promises to us. He promises to be with us, to guide us, to protect us, and to never leave us nor forsake us. He meets us in our Bethel, moments, those unexpected encounters where his presence becomes undeniably real. Our response, like Jacob's, should be one of awe, worship, and commitment. We can take the stones of our hardships and turn them into altars of remembrance, monuments to God's faithfulness in our lives. Genesis 28 teaches us that God is always at work, even when we are unaware. He sees us on our journey and extends his grace and his promises, inviting us into his incredible plan. The question for each of us is, are we willing to see the ladder? Are we willing to trust in God's connection to us, to listen for his voice, and to respond with a heart of faith? Thank you for joining me on this exploration of Jacob's amazing encounter at Bethel. I hope this story strengthens your faith and encourages you to look for God's presence in your own journey. Don't forget to like this video if it blessed you. Subscribe for more content like this, and share it with someone who might need to hear this message of hope. May you recognize the house of God in your own life today. Thanks for watching.